From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big noontime here on Monday from Los Angeles on your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 today. We'll be going over the incredible great news about that monthly stimulus check. The Democrats are calling the vote. The voting is starting on the reconciliation process. We'll go over the breaking news about that monthly stimulus check and the voting process that's happening today. All the exciting details across the board. There's a lot in this at noontime. Then we'll be cutting to fifth stimulus with another stimulus check and the fifth stimulus package and a raising up of your benefits lifetime. And the breaking news that gives us an insight as to how high those benefits can go. It's wonderful. Then we'll be cutting to the middle of this video with thousands of dollars you can get right now and the exciting details across the board for you to get that money. It's a big noontime. I'm really excited for you. Let's get ready to it. The check is not waving, but let's wave back at it. It's a big noontime starting right here, right now on LALATE. Hey, good noontime, everybody. It's Monday at noon, live from Santa Monica, California. I hope the weather is good where you are. It is beautiful today. The sun has come out, as you can tell. It's coming in. It was darker earlier today. Beautiful weather, light onshore breeze. How is the weather where you are? And tell me where you're tuning in from. Jump in the live chat right now and tell me how the weather is and where you're tuning in from. In this fourth stimulus check updated 2021. We'll be going over the breaking news as Bernie Sanders talks about your fourth stimulus, and we'll go over how his comments were manipulated by press exactly like I had said they would be done. I told you whose comments they were going to manipulate and when they were going to manipulate it, and I got exactly to the day and the person. Away we go. But fourth stimulus is heating up with a monthly stimulus check. We'll be going over the voting process as well in the second and third parts of this video. And then we'll be cutting to fifth stimulus, which is another stimulus check at hand and a raising up of your benefits. It's an exciting day and also big money for you to get. This is LALATE, the only 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week financial news channel, live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. We just ended overnight mornings crypto and mornings LALATE. Coming up next is afternoons at 3 o'clock. That is a big show, so you don't want to miss that show at 3 o'clock, followed by evenings LALATE at 5, then overnights crypto at 5:30. And get ready for the expansion of this channel into stock coverage in the next few days. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video. Every like helps. It helps in the algorithm rankings, and it also delivers free ice cream. That's what Nancy told me. I don't know. And consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that monthly stimulus check. House bill, Senate proposal. Let's compare and contrast, and let's go over the details. The bills the approaches are both monthly checks, but one has more checks and another one has more money. So let's go over the details. House bill, Jalapal, pandemic plus 1 year. Senate proposal, checks from July to December. So there's less checks for the senators. Let's go over the monthlies. House, $1,000 monthly after the first month of $2,000. The senators unknown on a monthly basis, but word on the street is it's this. Wow. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000. $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400. That is per person. Senate Democrats. Now, if you're in the live chat just after 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, get ready to vote House or Senate and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. But let's go back to something here. Yeah. Pandemic plus 1 year, well, some legislators may say the pandemic's over, so that would reduce it to 12 checks in 12 months, because there's 12 months in a year, which under Jalapal's House bill would be $13,000 over those 12 months. Let's compare that to the Senate. Here you go, over 6 months. I think you have an opinion. Vote right now. House or Senate? House or Senate? Tell me which one you like. Jump in the live chat right now. Vote House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? You do. The Democrats, want everyone who got a third stimulus to get a fourth stimulus check. The single individuals, 75,000 or less, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. Marry a couple, 150,000 or less, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check, double it. And if you're on a family of four, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. Just quadruple it. And then if you're on benefits, yes, the Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, and veterans benefits. There we go. The fourth stimulus check is not taxable, so because it's not income. And the fourth stimulus check would come on a monthly basis. So it would not come as a check on a wave. So don't wave at the check if you see it at Hometown Buffet next to the fettuccine Alfredo. Hey, check, how'd you like that, a fettuccine Alfredo? Don't wave back at me, rude check. Hey, don't take all the fettuccine. Save some for me. Rude check has to take all the fettuccine. It's not a waveable check. It can't wave back. It's not rude. It just likes fettuccine. There you go. The Democrats represent that the fourth stimulus check would go out in the month of July, for the month of July, and in the month of August, for the month of August, with a side of pasta. And the final vote would be by July 4th. There you go. That is the first of your three updates of the fourth stimulus check of 2021 today. Coming up in the second part, we'll be going over the breaking news from Bernie, talking about the situation and why press did exactly what I said they were going to do. Take his comment out of context. They're just starting to do what they always do right before the vote. And then we'll be going to the voting process as well in the third part of this video. Meantime, we will be cutting to fifth stimulus. So let me give you a preview of the second half of this video. Fifth stimulus heats up. With Wall Street really trying to digest these comments from the Fed head out of St. Louis on Friday, as inflation is red hot. Inflation is red hot. But could that raise your benefits more than 10% lifetime? I have the incredible news in the second half of this video. But let's get some money. It's Money Monday. It's Money Monday. I'm wearing purple because it's, Monday. And with that, let's get some money. If you're new to this channel, that's what I do. I get people money. This is not the stimulus tracking psychic network. I get people money. I got people $25 million for EIDL loans in spring of last year when their businesses were failing and their fear of losing their homes, say their business homes, their employees' homes. And I got people $250,000 of rent right before second stimulus got out because we were worried second stimulus wasn't getting done. And now we're doing the same. As we wait for fourth stimulus, I'm getting people this money. So get a pen and paper ready. And if it must be Crayola Crown, at least match the host's purple shirt, please. All right, I'm going to get a lot of money for you, so stay to the very end and get that pen and paper ready. We're going to be going over rent, utilities, mortgage, and homeowners' utilities to start. The rent is a lot of money. It's about $5,000, about 4 to 6 months of rent. So you're going to have different places I'm going to show you to get the money from, and each has different eligibility. So if one says no, reach out to the next. They all have different eligibility, and they also have their own pots of money. All right, you ready? Get that pen and paper ready. Here you go. You're going to reach out to the City Hall, City Housing Authority, County Hall, County Housing Authority, State Hall, State Housing Authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You don't say words that they don't know, like stimulus or San Francisco hairstyle. They'd be like, Nancy? No, wrong number. They'll just hang up on you. So don't use the wrong numbers. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this money. But if you've gotten any of this money, any money at all from this channel, jump in the live chat right now because it inspires other people. Inspires me, whether it's $1 or a lot more money. Last week I got inspired because I got one viewer this pot of money, $5,000. Yep, $5,000. The week before I got one viewer, $6,000 to $7,000 for this pot of money. What is it? It's SNAP. SNAP is wonderful. It is money for Department of Agriculture. Eligibility is about the same as a stimulus check, and it's money for your food. Reach out to Department of Agriculture to get it. How much can you get? Well, a family of four in Hawaii gets upwards now of $16,000 a year. Wow. Why so much money? Because of two executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits 15% between now and December. It's wonderful. So go get that SNAP. Lynn Glenn got it for herself and her son, her mom. Gail got it. And we're killing it. You're killing it. The fettuccine Alfredo, I'm not so much killing it. But we're at the 10 minutes mark. And boy, I've got you $16,000 for SNAP at a family of four out of Hawaii, $5,000 approximately for rent. What else is next? $5,000 back from your state. One viewer got this money. What is it? It's the states had overpaid you unemployment assistance due to computer error. And then the federal government has stepped in and now said, nope, that was your money to keep the citizens, and has now ordered the states to return the money back to you. Yes, one viewer got this money, $5,000. How do you get it? It's going to come automatically to the account you have on file with the unemployment department. When are you going to get it? Reach out to your respective state to ask when you're getting back the money that was caused by their computer error. And when they track it, ask them to use a different computer. There you go. And finally, a last pot of money. And that last pot of money is coming back from IRS. Todd got it. Margaret got it. Michael got it. If you got it as well, jump in the live chat. It's wonderful. How much is it? When are you going to get it? Routing times? The routing time, the details are the following. Let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment assistance. Your total tax bill is $5,000, of which your taxes on the unemployment to IRS 2020 was $4,000. You're getting back $4,000. When? This month. Where? Direct deposit. Otherwise, it's in the mail. And then, can you track it? Yeah, about 70% of the time. Go to irs.gov, set up a username and password, and go in and do a transcript search. You're surprised how many things you can reveal from doing a transcript search. Stuff you never knew. First, it will show the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid on that tax return, the recipe for upside down pineapple cake, and my favorite color. Well, maybe you already knew that. And then it'll also reveal the refund check and when it's coming to you. And there you go. Is that wonderful news or what? Well, we got better wonderful news. And it's a second of your third updates of forced stimulus check in this video. Well, forced stimulus check got this weekend the same treatment that I had predicted. Oh, going into this weekend, I predicted 3 things were going to happen, and all 3 things happened. 1, I predicted the cryptocurrency was going to crash. 2, I predicted that Bernie Sanders was going to say, I'm not really excited about something. And I was predicting that the press were going to take Bernie Sanders' comments and take it out of context and say he's blocking your bill. And guess what? They did that again. They're just about as predictable as, a llama that sings on American Idol. They just do the same thing all the time. So this is what I said on Saturday. I said going into next week, just get ready for Bernie Sanders generally to say, I'm not really excited about something, or I have mixed emotions about something, or I haven't made up my mind about something. And then have broadcast media take the quote and put a title to it. Bernie Sanders is blocking your budget bill. He didn't say that. He just says, I have it up in my mind. Well, guess what? They did that. They did it right on cue. Exactly. The stories are all out today. So what did Bernie say? He said he hadn't made up his mind about gas tax. But, I'm willing to think about it. So there you go. The exciting details is that forced stimulus is heating up. The voting is starting this week. It's a very, very exciting process because the president had called for the vote and said, start the reconciliation voting. Now, this is not starting the reconciliation. It already started. The final vote will be July 4th, but we're starting now. And away we go. Boy, how did we get to the spot? Well, it started with a comment by Jalapal and progresses before the weekend. And I want to explain the 2 comments. They're wonderful comments, but they're double negatives because they're legislators, not English majors. They're confusing to listen to a double negative sentence. So Jalapal said, the White House has not in any way told me to not do what I'm doing. That's wonderful, but it's a double negative, so I'll explain. Brian Schatz, Democrat of Hawaii, says the White House has repeatedly reassured him that the White House considers the progressive policies their own priorities, and the White House has not asked him to back off on doing what he's not doing or doing. And now that you're not double negative of not nor, so let me translate what all that double negative means. It's great news. The president is not a legislator, so he does not write the forced stimulus package. Rather, he proposes what he wants in there, and he makes clear, if he wants to make clear, what is a big line in the sand for him, meaning if it's not in there, he vetoes. And those 2 provisions he's made very clear. Number 1, climate, and number 2, CARES economy, which refers to seniors and medicine. Both those policies are progressive policies. And guess who has told the president they're putting those progressive policies in there for him? The progressives, of course, very, very obvious. And so the president has indicated to the progressives like Jalapal, thank you for taking care of my two progressive policies, the only two that I'm absolutely adamant about that are in there. And there, thank you for taking care of them and putting them in there. To which he's also said, basically, and you put whatever progressive policies you have in there, and I will support you as well. And guess what progressive policies they represent they're putting in there? The monthly stimulus check. That's the wonderful news. On Morning to LA, there was a person in the comments, which I certainly deleted because it was a false comment. The viewer said the following, and it's very funny because I find it a humorous comment, even though it's so ridiculously wrong. The viewer said, it's an infrastructure bill. There's no stimulus checks. Can we go back in history? Your second stimulus was the result of this channel and the viewers getting it done, was in a budget bill, a continuing resolution. There's no stimulus checks in continuing resolutions. I came up with the idea and it was in there. You know what also was in the continuing resolution? Money for foreign countries, like, South America and so why is there money for foreign countries in the budget bill? The third stimulus had also money for foreign countries. Why is there money in foreign countries in a stimulus bill? Well, because that's what bills do. Just because it's called something doesn't mean that there's not something else in there. And we'll see that later in this video when we talk about fifth stimulus. The president calls it the family's plan, but there's money in there for single people. That they just attach a name to things, but there's other stuff in there. And certainly we could argue that climate is not infrastructure, but as you just heard, climate's included in there. So how did we get to this wonderful spot of calling the vote? We started the Friday before Memorial Day weekend when Leader Schumer said, we're currently under recon. We are finishing recon by July 4th, and we're finishing with a passage. Well, how did we get to that spot? Jalapal. There's Jalapal again. Jalapal wrote Chuck a letter, said, Chuck, call the vote on the recon. What's taking so long? Well, that letter was signed by 12 House Democrats who were among the 100. Yeah, you did hear me right. 100 plus House Democrats who were written the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow. That's good news. Can we top that? We can. When about a week ago, 7 House Democrats wrote the president a letter saying, Mr. President, when we write the fourth stimulus, we'll be writing monthly stimulus checks in there. Who are you to say that? What do you do for a living? They're on the House subcommittee that's responsible for writing stimulus checks. Did they write the first stimulus check? They did. Did they write the second stimulus check? They did. Did they write our third stimulus check? They did. And now they say they're writing our fourth stimulus check. They say they are. And they currently have confirmed they're marking up the bill right now. Wow. Are they writing us a fifth stimulus check as well? They say they are, and that's coming up later in this video. Oh my goodness, can we top that? We can. Biden did it. Biden did it by going overseas and anchoring to the finish line for stimulus by getting an international agreement signed that no longer negates or has the need to have provisions in for stimulus about international corporate taxes. It's now making it easier to pass for stimulus. Let me explain what's going on. Fourth stimulus is paid for by raising the U.S. corporate tax rate. That U.S. corporate tax rate is at a current level. The president wants to raise it up. But he told us from day one he was worried that corporations may leave the U.S. to go to other countries where the corporate tax rate is cheaper to save money. Well, he reached out to those other countries and said, hey, do you like the idea of raising our corporate tax rates, everyone, including yours? They said, yeah. So he reached out to his staffer and said, this December, let's go back to those G7 countries and have them sign on the dotted line around Christmas and bring some of that caramel popcorn that Jill likes. Well, then he surprised us all. 2 Saturdays ago, he went overseas for his first international trip as president and got those G7 countries to sign on the dotted line now. Not after fourth stimulus, but now, which anchors fourth stimulus right to the edge of the finish line, because now those provisions about corporate taxes and international issues are no longer needed in the fourth stimulus package. They're in the international agreement, making it easier for the Democratic caucus to pass fourth stimulus. Wow, now that's wonderful news. And can we top that wonderful news? We can. And it's coming up in the third part of your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. I'll be going over the voting process this week and the details of the routing times and what you need to know to prepare for the president's messaging all week long. We'll also be cutting the fifth stimulus, which not only has a fifth stimulus check, but could potentially see your benefits go up 10%. Exciting. But first, something even more wonderful. The volunteers. They truly embody the purple power spirit. People helping one another. They're salts of the earth. And so if you need help with rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, or SNAP. Reach out to the volunteers. They're on the community page. How do you find them? Open the description of this video. Go down the description. You'll see an emoji of a house. Next to that emoji of the house is a link to the community page, news.lalate.com/community. They'll see a picture of some kitty cats. They're not the volunteers. Lower on the page are the volunteers. Reach out to them and they'll help you get that rent, utilities, SNAP, or internet. They won't pick up your dry cleaning. They won't knit you a wool scarf. They won't give you directions to Nancy's hairstylist. And they won't be able to make you $12 ice cream. But everything else that I covered, they will be able to help you with. And stay with me. I'll be back in 60 seconds. Here's first a little bit about the volunteers. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on noontime with exciting details across the board on your fourth stimulus and your fifth stimulus. I'm really excited for you across the board. There was one person who was rude enough to join in the live chat a second ago, said, I read somewhere that delete. I mean, really? I mean, this is a show you're tuning in to learn information, and you're bringing to the chat what you heard from the front porch, please. Coming up in the second half of this video, we won't be going over stuff that you heard on the front porch. We'll actually be going over news, breaking news, a lot of breaking news about your fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. Also, like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and it helps to deliver free pizza. I think I heard that somewhere. I don't know if it's true. And consider becoming a member. Let's get right into the details of fifth stimulus, which heats up. Also during the commercial break, and I've been sort of pushing heavy on this as well, one viewer said, I'm looking forward to getting that SS200 next month. You want to no longer talk about SS200 because fifth stimulus is the big change or reform that pays you fortunes. SS200 is going nowhere. This is what pays you astronomically more money. It's fifth stimulus. I'm going over it right now. Fifth stimulus has a lot of provisions, a lot of breaking news. The first one I want to go over first is the stimulus check before we get to the benefits. The stimulus check, yes, there will be a fifth stimulus check. The Democrats will be putting a fifth stimulus check into the fifth stimulus package. When the check would go out next year, who would it be for? For everyone. And when would the final vote be? About November-ish. When we start seeing drafts of it, about September to October. Second, the president has dedicated over $1 billion to SSI and SSDI, the Social Security Administration, to ensure you get checks on time going forward. This is fourth stimulus, fifth stimulus, and your benefits checks. If you were with me earlier this year, you saw the debacle with third stimulus, with people not getting checks, stimulus checks on time. As my Direct Express by Commerco was holding up my check for 3 weeks and 4 weeks, and people were seeing waves of checks and never getting their checks on time and seeing other people getting stimulus checks before them. He's solving all that. Wonderful news. Which brings us to the SSI reform. No longer should you talk about SS200 because this is the one that's going to change your life. Let's go over the incredible details of this. It started with a surprise twist on Friday when the head of the Federal Reserve out of St. Louis said that inflation is a little too hot than we had expected. Oh boy. That was a problem for him to say that. Along with that, there was going to be 2 interest rate spikes next week because his boss, Jay Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, had said the opposite on Wednesday, or had avoided certain subjects like avoiding inflation. But Wall Street certainly expects that inflation is getting very hot. They think that the current inflation rate is about 4% based upon the CPI and the PPI over the last week. And they think that inflation rate of 4% is going up. It's going up, going up, going up, and will be transitory, which is a fancy word for temporary, and reach a spike potentially of 10% before coming back down. So how does this work for your SSI and SSDI reform that is going to the finish line on the fifth stimulus, unlike SS200, which is no longer happening? Let me go over the details and why this pays you astronomically more money than the SS200. It starts by understanding that they're first going to raise up your benefits one time. Then they're going to remove the asset limit, add an inflationary benchmark, which you're going to calculate, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over how this works. First, they raise everyone's benefits up one time. If you have multiple benefits, then you as well. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple benefits. Then, you already know that every December they apply a benchmark for next year's benefits. Well, your new benchmark will be inflation. And you already know that inflation is hot now, is going to get hotter, go up higher. But how high? Here's what you have to hope. Not only that you hope they pass this, but also you have to hope that the timing is perfect. If it's 4% now and it's going up, you have to hope it really hits that hot spot of 10%, that peak, right before it comes back down, right when they apply your benefits in November, December, that benchmark. Because that would raise your benefits up potentially 10%. Not just next year, but lifetime. This is astronomical change. This is an astronomical change. This blows away SS200 by fortunes. This is what you have to hope for. You want them to pass it, and you have to hope that inflation rate ties in nicely when the spike is happening. Next, they're going to remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. If you want to work, you'll be able to work. They're going to remove the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 on hand. Now you'll be able to have a stimulus check in your hand and room for a taco. And finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You'll no longer fear loss of benefits and no longer be penalized if you are going to get married. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer lose or fear loss of benefits. And there you go. That is your fifth stimulus check update of 2021. But as that one viewer said, well, it's not a that bill. It doesn't have that type of thing in there. That's absolutely never been the case in any of these stimulus packages. All these stimulus packages have always had stuff in there that if you didn't know they were in there, you didn't get it. For example, fifth stimulus, American Family Act, it has money for single people. It has money for single hazard pay. Fourth stimulus, there's a lot of big money in there, and fourth stimulus and third stimulus. Boy, when third stimulus passed, I told viewers that, yeah, you get a $14 stimulus check, but most of you qualify for about $1,000 to $15,000. And viewers are getting it. So how do you get it? By consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and in the pinned comment. Members are delivered from me daily, a breakdown of all the money in third stimulus that you can get. That's application-based. It's not automatic, application-based. And they're getting thousands of dollars, like the viewers earlier in this video who got $5,000 and $6,000. They're getting it by learning from the delivery I give every day. I send to you via the YouTube community page a breakdown of everything that's in third stimulus for you to get and fourth and fifth stimulus as proposed. So consider becoming a member and get delivered to you daily those breakdowns of all that money for you to get. All right, that's setting us up for the third and final part of our fourth stimulus check update of 2021. I'll be going over personal message, then I'll be going over routing times and voting times, then fake narratives, and finally, purple power push. First, personal message. You've been doing a great job, but Bernie Sanders' comments on the weekend were fascinating, and the second half of his comment was even more indicative. I want to go over his comment and the second part of his comment as well. Bernie Sanders was asked what does he think about fourth stimulus, and he said, well, I'm not really excited about a gas tax or an EV thingy, comma. meaning the sentence is still not over, comma, but I still have not seen the bill yet. Oh, does that sound familiar? That does sound familiar. We have an emoji for that. Don't have the bill yet. So what did broadcast media do? They did exactly what I told you to do. They took the quote and they cut it. They cut the second half of the sentence. So they ran the quote as, I'm not very excited on gas tax. And they left out the part of the quote that says, I haven't seen the bill yet. And what title did they give him? Bernie Sanders is blocking your bill. He didn't say that. He didn't even say anything even close to that. He said, I'm not very excited about gas tax, but I haven't seen the bill, and I'm waiting to see the bill. So it's important to understand that they're currently marking up a draft of the bill. And for anyone that tells you there's a bill, just tell them what Bernie said. There is no final bill yet. They're marking up the bill. There's no final draft of the bill. And until there is a final draft, you can't make a determination. What they mean by marking up the bill is they have a pen in their hand, and the pen has ink on one side and an eraser on the other side. And anytime they could be erasing something you really like in there, or they could be taking the ink part and writing something in there that you really want in there. So let's go over the voting steps so you understand where the final changes will be made and where changes still could be made, and then where Bernie, of course, would see the bill that he would be voting on. It's not now yet, so let's go over the voting steps. There's 9 voting steps. Steps 5, 7, and 8 are the most important steps to pay attention to. Let's go over. First, step 1, the House subcommittee votes on the procedural bill. Step 2, the House floor votes on the procedural bill. Step 3, the Senate votes on the procedural bill. Step 4, the President signs the procedural bill into law. At that point, the toe check has passed over the finish line. Okay, here we come to that important step 5. House subcommittee. You heard about them earlier in this video. The people who say they're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in there. You also heard they're currently marking up the bill. It's at that point they stop marking up the bill. It's finished. It's now typed up. It's ready for a vote. And they called for a vote in the House subcommittee, the substantive bill. It may have stimulus checks in there. It may not. Remember, they're still making changes. House floor, they call a vote on the substantive bill. Here we go. Steps 7 and 8. Critical 2-day step. The 2-day vote-a-rama in the Senate. The senators, like Bernie Sanders, receive finally the bill. Notice we haven't had the bill for Bernie to have until this point. He finally gets the bill to look at. And until he has the bill, you don't know what's in the bill. That's actually what's his quote. I don't have the final bill. I don't know what's really in there. That's actually what he says in the quote for today. So that step 7 and 8, 2-day vote-a-rama. What can senators do? 3 possibilities. Possibility number 1, the House bill has no stimulus checks in there. The senators amend and add them in there. Possibility number 2, the House bill has stimulus checks in there. The senators love it. They leave it alone. Possibility number 3, the House bill has stimulus checks in there and the senators still want to amend. Step 9, the president signs into law. Now, some of the things you're hearing for the first time on Noontime LA as we get closer to the final vote is that if the House makes a final change again or an amendment that goes back, Senate makes an amendment that goes back to the House for a final vote. But generally, the House members always vote in favor of that final change from the senators. Next, they can do several of these steps in the same day. They cannot do the vote-a-rama any shorter. Third, in the case of the last recon, Chuck Schumer did the following. He did not have a Senate subcommittee process involved. And why did he do that? Because he said when the House subcommittee is marking up the bill, they will be communicating with the Senate subcommittee. By all indication, he's doing that again. So when the bill lands in the Senate, it won't go into Senate subcommittees because they will have already been working on it all these weeks with the House subcommittees. Which brings us to fake narratives. Fake narratives, you already saw one with Bernie Sanders, where I told you they were going to take legislators' comments out of context and say it differently. Basically, he said, I haven't seen the bill yet, but I'm not very excited about a gas tax. Doesn't mean he's not going to vote in favor of it. He said this 3 times before. He said this on the second stimulus. He said it on the third stimulus. Under third stimulus, he said, I'm not really excited unless there is a minimum wage bill in there, a minimum wage provision in there. And otherwise, I'm not very excited. So guess what they did in January? broadcast media. They said Bernie Sanders is going to block your third stimulus unless there's a minimum wage. Well, he didn't, and there was no minimum wage provision in there. So that second fake narrative, which is already growing today, and the person at fault for this one is the president. What is this fake narrative? It is people talking who should not be talking about the fourth stimulus, like Ron Portman. Let me go over why this happened. When the president was overseas in Geneva, Switzerland, he was asked on one of the tarmacs, Mr. President, what about fourth stimulus? We're calling the vote, and I don't want to hear any more from bipartisan support. That's it as of this Friday. And then he was on another tarmac just a few hours later, and they asked him a question again. He's like, well, we're open to a range of hearing. I'm open to hearing from anyone that wants to talk to me. Big mistake. For some reason, well, here's what's going on. Let me explain what's going on. The president has this deep-rooted emotion that he should always project himself as trying to be bipartisan, even while doing a recon, which is partisan. The recon is just days away from finishing, and he doesn't like that it's partisan. So he's trying to make himself look like a recon is bipartisan, which is not. He really needs to just take ownership of the fact that the recon is partisan, and it will go partisan ways. But he's deeply rooted in this notion he has to consistently hear from other people if they want to talk to him. Now, why is that bad? Because there's certain people that he never would listen to, never would take their opinion of, that are now trying to insert themselves in the discussion who have nothing to do with your fourth stimulus. Ron Portman. Ron Portman in 2020 was the guy that, as you were losing your home, your business, your bank account, your job, and everything, said, you're lazy, get back to work, I'm cutting off your FPUC and no stimulus check for you. And so guess who's talking about fourth stimulus today and yesterday? Ron Portman. And that's because the president didn't tell everyone to just zip it. Let's just go to recon and just finish it off. Rather, he said, if you want to call me up on the phone, I'll answer the phone. If you want to meet for lunch, I'll go for lunch. Oh, just stop that. Just stop that. And so that has caused a problem because now you have press running Ron Portman quotes. Is Ron Portman going to have anything to do with fourth stimulus? No. Is his quotes going to be run every single day if he keeps on talking? Yeah, until the president says, sorry, Rob. No, sorry, Mr. Senator Portman. No, thank you. And there you go. Finally, Purple Power Push. You've been doing a great job. Keep it up. Remember, as we go into the final stretch, they're still marking up the bill. So their pen could go from eraser to ink at any time. You need to continue. Hashtag MSC, hashtag Purple Power. Go on social media and tag your Democratic senators, Democratic House members. Tag your progressives. Tag your progressive caucuses accounts like House Progressive Caucus, and then its chair, its vice chair. Also retweet other Purple Power's tweets by searching for MSC, hashtag MSC, one word, or hashtag Purple Power and retweet. If you don't use social media, then do the old-fashioned way, the telephone. Pick up the phone and call your elected officials. Say, we really need this because, and I saw some of your comments during the commercial break, people are explaining their story. Wonderful. Explain it to your legislators. Don't explain amongst us. We all know it's needed. They need to hear from you. It's needed. And finally, if there's any reason to prove that they need to be sent out, there's two proofs. Last week, Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, appeared on Capitol Hill on Wednesday, said, I'm still supporting the economy. I am still providing the Federal Reserve stimulus through the end of December because we're not fully rebounded. There you go. And number two, on Thursday, the new jobless claims number was released. This is people who were never unemployed during the pandemic. What did the number reveal? It went up, meaning that people who had never been unemployed lost their job in the last week. We need stimulus. And with that, thank you for joining me on a big noontime broadcast. I'm back with four more shows later today that you cannot miss. Next up is Afternoons LATE at 3 p.m. Then that show will end and it'll take you automatically into Evenings LATE, which is they're both big shows tonight, so don't miss them. And then after Evenings LATE, with no delay, it goes right into Overnight's Crypto. And boy, as crypto is crashing, there's a lot of things happening. And then we go into Evenings Crypto as well. join me as this channel expands next into stock coverage, as well as a lot of things are changing across the board for the financial markets. And with that, make sure you subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. Like this video. It delivers free pizza if you like the video. I don't know about that, but at least it helps the algorithm ranking. Consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful noontime. I'll see you on Afternoons LA.